The Midlands 103 Green Home and Energy Show is coming up on the 23rd. That is this coming Sunday, 11 in the morning. It kicks off and it is absolutely free to come in and browse around all of the hand-picked exhibitors, some backed by popular demand, others brand new for the first time. And experts such as Hugh Wallace from RTE's Home of the Year will be speaking. And also, you will meet some real people who are at different stages of their own renovation journey and who've learned the practical and sometimes painful lessons along the way. So, 11 o'clock until 4, Tullamore Court Hotel, and it's all supported with kind thanks to Electric Ireland Superhomes. One of the exhibitors will be Eco Horizon, and Ciaran Kells is here, the managing director of that company. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So, what do you do?
So I'm the Managing Director of Eco Horizon. We're a solar PV installation company and smart energy solutions. So the main thing that we do is we install solar panels, battery storage for domestic houses, for farms and for commercial premises.
So on a day like this, and unfortunately we've had a protracted period of overcast conditions.
For sure.
How does that dent the return?
Look, they still work, and that's the main thing. They still work. But I think, especially for a domestic household, the important thing is having solar PV and battery storage together will really get you through the winter. Because, don't get me wrong, the solar is probably about 15% of your consumption rate in the wintertime, whereas in the summertime it's about 80%. And then they kind of lean in and out from that throughout the year. So overall, on a standard house, if they listen to our advice, you can get about 50 to 70% of your energy covered by solar power. But the important part is the battery storage. So in winter time, when you're not there during the day or the cheaper night rate, you can store up that energy and you can use then when the sun is not shining. So the whole system as itself is a kind of a holistic 360 approach to energy savings.
So how large a battery do you typically recommend?
So for a household, they say that the average consumption in a year is about 4,200 kilowatts. So that's on average about a 12-panel system and a 5 kilowatt-hour battery, and you should be getting about 60 or 70% of your energy covered by the solar panels.
Okay, and if you have a larger house,
sure,
do you necessarily get a larger battery? Because the batteries can be expensive.
I mean, look, the one thing people regret when they're talking about solar is that they never get enough because nothing is lost, because there's a feed-in tariff now and the economy of scales, basically, the more you put on, the less it'll cost because the installation cost is the same. The more you get, the more savings you get. And look, if you're a larger user, the system will pay for itself quicker, and then your bottom line is completely reduced then afterwards. You can see how popular the vans are. You can see the vans on the road now, all these solar companies. I mean, people are making good financial decisions and solar is a huge part of that.
And there's still grant support as well.
There is, yeah. So the supports now are the grant, which is €1,800 from the SAEI, and then you have 0% VAT, and then you also have a very good feed-in tariff still as well, which is a very important thing because you can export anything that you do not use in the summer, and then you can accumulate that credit towards your winter bills as well.
The feed-in tariff has come down a little bit, but generally speaking, it's in around the 20-cent mark.
Yeah,
give or
I mean,
take.
it's as far as we're concerned, it's still quite good. We believe that maybe the energy companies will start bringing it down, but that's only because the price of electricity is going down. But if you do have a solar system and a battery system, we never really try and sell a system based off of the feed-in tariff. We try and sell them based off of self-consumption first, and the feed-in tariff is kind of an extra added
That's
bonus.
the cream on top.
Exactly.
So with pricing as it is, what typical payback period?
At the moment, with the way pricing is, I would say 5 to 6 years is a good, for a domestic household, 5 to 6 years. For a commercial premise, at the moment, it's still about 2 to 3 years, which is amazing because the commercial grant is very high. You're paid per panel you put on your roof with regards to the grant. And then you also have a thing called the Accelerated Capital Allowance Scheme, which you can claim some back on your end of year returns. So for a commercial premise who's operating 9 to 5, it's a no-brainer as well. If you're a high user of electricity, that is.
Well, if you leave that money in the bank, you're not going to get a return of 33 to 50% as a business, and even what was it, 16 to 20% as a homeowner. That's
I mean, it's
brilliant.
It's a great financial decision. I mean, and even as soon as you put the panels on your roof, it already adds to the value of the house, like the sellability of the house. If it increases your BER, you may be able to get a green loan.
Do you get a fresh BER once the work is complete?
You would. So say if you go for the grant scheme, you need to get a BER afterwards. And normally you get quite a big jump with the solar panels. The more panels you put on, the bigger jump you get. And a lot of banks will be able to give you a green mortgage if you get from, I think it's C to a B, in which case then you have a lower APR. And then straight away, that nearly covers the cost of the solar install if you factor in the whole price of a mortgage. So a lot of people will do it just purely for that reason alone, and then obviously your bottom line is reduced as well.
Now, the concept of solar PV is well understood. You mentioned some other smart solutions.
Sure.
Such as?
So with we're in Ireland, we're a bit on the catch-up. We're catching up with the likes of Europe. So dynamic tariffs is something that you're going to hear about quite a lot soon, right? So they may incentivize you to push energy out to the grid at a certain time that's peak demand. So say, for example, between 5 and 7 p.m., they might incentivize you to pay you double the feed-in tariff rate, or even more. We'll be lobbying for more, so that you can use your solar system to help with peak demand on the grid and incentivize you to do it. So instead of them turning on a multi-million euro gas plant up in Dublin somewhere, they might incentivize everybody to push energy out of their solar systems. So store up that energy from the sunshine, or perhaps over night time, and then push that energy out to the grid from the houses. So rather than be a part of the problem, you use the homeowner to be part of a solution to create a little bit of income for the house and also help stabilise the grid.
And is that something the homeowner has to actively do?
At the moment, yes, but the technology is moving so quickly that soon enough that it'll just be done automatically through kind of an AI algorithm or something like that. I'm not too technical in the details, but a lot of these newer kind of solar systems that we install has this ready to go. So,
but at the least then your behaviour, you'll try and reduce the amount of washing you're doing during those peak times, so you're not taking from what you're exporting.
The key is that you don't have to, because you have a battery storage system that helps with your usage, but also helps with your neighbour's usage down the road as well, who may not be able to get solar, and then you get incentivised to help the grid as well. So kind of the whole holistic grid as a whole will benefit from it. And we're really trying to lobby for this, because this is given true power to the homeowner to use the roof. I mean, roofs at the moment with no solar panels are doing nothing other than putting a roof over your head. Let's make them make some money for the homeowner.
What other smart solutions have you got?
So there's a couple of different bits of technology. The battery storage is a huge one, and it's the one that we really push because it makes most sense. But you can divert the energy to your hot water. You can divert the energy directly into the electric car, so that you're not pulling that high power from the grid. Anything that's an electrical user in the house. For example, there's a lot of people that may have that really cold room in the house that they can never get warm. So you can put maybe an infrared heater in that room on a small thermostat. You don't have to replumb. And then you can push that excess energy that you're not using into that house room, to keep it in a nicer state, because the rest of the house will probably keep warm, but everyone has that cold north-facing room. So there's a bunch of things that you can do with.
And this is all controlled on an app, is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the technology. Some of them are kind of all together in one app. Some of them have different apps for different tech. It all depends. The thing about us, we try and give the customer choice. Every house is different. So like we would operate with a couple of different manufacturers in regards to the inverter and batteries. But from house to house, or from business to business, or farm to farm, we tend to end up offering different solutions, because everyone is a little bit different. So we try and do a tailored solution for that person or for that business.
And you'll be able to demo these on Sunday?
Yes, look, I'm there myself all day. We're in the industry 10 years now. I'm an energy systems engineer, so I'll happily answer any questions that anyone may have.
And where are you based?
We're based in Mountrath in County Laois.
Ciaran, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks a million for having me on.
Ciaran Kells of Eco Horizon, just one of the exhibitors you'll meet this Sunday at the Midlands 103 Green Home and Energy Show, proudly supported by Electric Ireland Super Homes. It's coming up on 20 to 12.
Got an opinion? 083 30 10 183. Powered by Lamb Brothers Tullamore.